Massive number of people have been upgrading. Yes,
there you go. You see the graceful limb that you were talking about before.
The race we've got yet again, and a victor then goes victory to an American, Andy Hampton.
The belt to go by. He looks at the Colombian rider. How are you doing?
Straight past Santiago Patero, and he's coming up to Pantani.
Armstrong is sitting in the last few hundred metres as we come towards the finish of this monumental stage. And Armstrong,
as we start to approach the line now, Pantani grits his teeth and accelerates and over the line.
Is going now to win stage number 15. Sepp Kuss, an emotional finish from Durango in the USA. Sepp Kuss wins.
Welcome back. If you've never left or whatever, we're here. Tyler Yonke, Between Two Wheels podcast, episode 400 in the books, with stage 21 of the 2025 Tour de France, Mantes-la-Ville to Paris, Champs-Élysées, 132.3 kilometers. We're going to do this short and dirty, make it quick, and then this next, because I got a trial this next few days. I got work to do. And then the follow up, because this next week I'm going to do a review, give a breakdown of my review of each team, how they did, give them a rating, some riders' ratings, wins or losses, surprises and whatnot. If you have any categories you want me to go over, some surprise thing, whatever, send them in here. All right. Stage 21. Look, we're going to bring this up right here. Here's the as predicted, there's a lot, it could be a sprint, and I'm like, okay, there's the only way this is going to be a sprint stage is if the riders decide they don't want to race. Okay, you're going to see this little profile here, the Montemarte, Col de Butte, whatever, the little climb there that they did in the Olympics, the Olympic road race. So if you watch that at all, you have an understanding that this thing is detrimental, okay? And ninth place was Matteo Jorgensen. Who won was Remco. So it's explosive. Tadej wasn't there because his girlfriend got left off of the team. We hear that, But this was going to be explosive. It's if the racers wanted to race it, it was going to be explosive. So let's take a look at here it is. Here's the route. Paris. They're coming in here to Paris. There's the route that we have here. And by the way, this has got to happen every year from now. It's flat, but you got these bumps, these real steep little cobbled bumps, and then there's the finish that they're coming into. There's the finishing line, a little downhill, and there you go. So it was going to be monumental. Tadej's got a lead. It's insurmountable. The green jersey's wrapped up. The polka dots wrapped up. White jersey, for the most part, is wrapped up as well. So you're not really going to have much going on. Geraint Thomas, his very last race of his career. Congrats to him. I've actually kind of enjoyed him. So EF did a good job in this race. We'll break down the racers. There you go. But there's the course, and it's going to go over some pave, especially coming in the Champs, and this little circuit that they have going on here with this little climb. But were they going to do pomp and circumstance? Yes, they did a little bit of that. Riders' teams roll off the front, kilometer zero. Tadej's team, they do the wine, Look at that, the little processional. All the teams are doing it, okay? Quinn Simmons got super teammate of the tour. So whatever that means, I think it's just voted on. So good for him. Super combative. Went for the overall tour, went to Ben Healy, good for him. But the green jersey goes to Jonathan Milan, good for him. White jersey goes to Lipowitz. Oh boy, Roglic. So there you go. That's three French guys. Those are the two guys Thomas and Vecher that crashed on the first KOM of the race, stage one. They went over it together, and then the race was on. And what was interesting is from when 100 kilometers here into the finish, they decided to race. Tadej gets on the front. He's like, I want to get this thing over with, or I'm going to be the most, put out the most kilojoules for the day. His team does get to ride into France on the Champs-Élysées. They come through the Louvre. It's pretty interesting. They come through this. So not all the, I mean, this is fascinating to just see the fact that they can ride their bike through there. That's pretty cool. But over the start finish line, there you go. UAE comes over their team. They let them come through. Now we're going to go. So I think it's what, third or second lap around on the Champs-Élysées. That's where they decided, because it was going to be rain. So they said, we're going to take GC times here. Now I get it. And by the way, maybe it made this racing more dynamic coming into the finish. I did have a feeling of that. But it's also kind of like, well, maybe Mont Ventoux is a little too tough. So we're going to just say no GC. It's kind of ridiculous, especially on a race like this. If you're going to put cobbles in, you get cobbles in. Now, I saw Johan Bernil. He's like, I wasn't in favor of this, but, you know, maybe afterwards. I think it's like, dude, you didn't want cobbles. You don't want gravel. You don't want anything. I don't know what the fuck you want. Okay, so I'm tired of him. We want entertainment. And were you entertained on this race? Yes. So they come through the first start finish. Lipowitz gets off the front. He actually is the only person that got a little bit of a time advancement today because he gets ninth, but it doesn't mean anything. Quinn Simmons comes off the front with him, and then it's a little bit of pomp and circumstance, but the riders go, they're going to hit this hill 3 times. First time coming into the climb. Okay. You can see Visma is looking like they're queuing up. They're coming into the bottom of the climb, but Tudor has this setup. They hit the bottom of it. Haller's there, Delee's there with Lotto, and Julian Alaphilippe kicks hard, but so does Tadej Pogačar behind him. He's looking pretty good. Wout jumps on his wheel. Everything is looking fine. They start to do, and the break, it kind of breaks up to about 30 riders up in the front there, and the rain really starts to come down hard. Now, I did not see one wreck today. Okay, so there you go. It was Bruno Amarai maybe comes through the front there. You have a good gap. And coming into the second time they hit the climb, okay, Visma really is queued up. Jonas isn't there. Jonas decides not to take part. One of the only GC people that's going to take part is Tadej. And I want to say, Tadej, thank you for doing what you did today. Okay, Ron here says, imagine being French. No, I like showers. I like cleanliness. I'm not going to do that. So they hit the bottom of the climb. Campenarts is there. This is the group that had gone over to already split itself up on the first time. Campenarts for Visma, Matteo Jorgensen, and Wout. But Wout was caught from behind as Campenarts and Matteo kind of hit the front. Tadej's all the way up at the front. I think... my theory is with Tadej that he did this move today because he's up there. He's Tadej. He says, let's race. I'll play ball. But he didn't want Visma to win. He didn't want Jorgensen to win, especially. I really believe that was one of the driving forces for this guy today, which was you go over the top the first time. He's kind of soft pedaled it. He looked fine, whatever. Wout's there. Okay, Wout's looking decent. But then they come into the second time, and you've got Campenarts, and you've got Matteo, and Wout's not in the picture at this point. You can see him moving up on the right-hand side, our right, their left as they come into the right-hand corner. And I think Tadej just said, I'm not going to have this. And so he hits the front hard. Now, as he does at the bottom of the climb, Wout connects just fine. Campenarts kind of gets dismissed, but Matteo jumps on there. Wout jumps on there. You've got a few other riders. Ballerini's up there. Mahoric, Matteo Trentin, and pretty much though you've got this group here. Now the other guys are out the back. Okay, so let's talk about this because there's gonna kind of skip it. But if you watch the race, here's what was interesting today. We've talked about this race where Visma, and by the way, this whole season, Visma has done a few things. One is they've ridden for Tadej. You're off on a break. They're doing work. Fine. It's just like, why are you doing this for him? We also remember Dwars 2 years ago. Matteo won that. Okay. He won that 2024, not 2 years ago, but last year in 2024, 2 editions. 2024, Matteo wins it. But that's the time that Wout had that nasty, nasty crash and really took him out for a long time. Matteo takes over. He ends up winning that. Then this year they go in there and there's a break up the road, and one of those people that are up in the road is a young gentleman by the name of Neilson Powless. He gets up there with EF, but that break is doomed, and it's so doomed that behind you have Tish Benoot, you have Wout van Aert, and you have Matteo Jorgensen. They break off, and those three come barreling through. The break tries to join up. One person gets on board, which is Neilson Powless. And Visma has so much hubris, they come into the finish just leading them out instead of like guaranteeing a win where Matteo attacks and then they make Nilsson, and then Tish attacks and make Nilsson chase, and then Wout wins. You know, they didn't do that. They went for just a straight out lead out, and Neilson Powless waxed Wout in a sprint. Okay, so now the first they go off there. There's the Visma guys between climb 1 and 2, they're doing work, but Tadej is doing work. Tadej has not been doing that this whole tour, except for how to come and some time trials. And then we saw that actually up to the last day that was at La Pagna, where he actually got on the front and did some work, had to basically do it, but they didn't capitalize. This time, though, he's on the 100K to go. He's already doing work. He hits the climb first. He's doing work the whole time. They come into the climb. That's the second time. They come into the climb the third time down with a nice gap over here. Tadej is up there once again. He's got a few guys with him, and, you know, numbers go with Visma. So Visma has 2 guys. They come into the right-hand corner up the climb the last time. Tadej explodes. Now, coming into this, Matteo had attacked at least twice, and Tadej had to Tadej chased him down once again. This is not for GC. You don't get. This is all about pride on the stage. So you chase him down like it's a one-day classic because you're only up there for the win. There's no other reason these guys are up there except for the glory of winning on the Champs-Élysées. Okay, and stage 21 of a Tour de France stage. So it's pride, it's everything. Tadej chases Matteo down because we're not concerned about GC. But Matteo's a danger because this is his kind of wheelhouse. This ninth in the Olympic road race, as an example. Won Dwarves, got top four in Dwarves this year. Okay, I mean, he does good in the classics. So this is a problem. So Tadej chases him down. Tadej at one point decides to not pull through, and Matteo had been on there. Matteo's on his, and just sits up, makes Tadej come around him, and you're doing all these things that Wellens had been trying to. It was great work, in my opinion, by Visma. Now, was it smart for Tadej what he was doing? No, I don't know what his point was here, because he was doing a lot of work. He was pulling through the whole time. He didn't have to. There was no reason for him to do it. Yeah, take him off the back, see what happens. Okay, try that. Well, Jorgensen did that, and Tadej fell for it and jumps. So once again, Tadej wants the Visma not to win. Visma wants to win, and they're playing it cool because they're making him do extra work. They hit the climb the last time. Tadej blasts out of here. The only person that can really go with him is Wout. And then Wout hits, just when you think that Wout's just like barely, oh, hang on. He hits it himself, and he starts to distance Tadej. Now, back here, you've got Jorgensen a ways and a few others, but over the top is Wout, and he is barreling to the finish. This group's trying to chase. They catch Tadej, and Wout, looking good, posts up at the line, easily does it. Matter of fact, pounds his bars, and then stands up with the two-hand salute, very happy for his team and himself. Meanwhile, back there, I don't know what was going on with Jorgensen. He was leading out this sprint for these guys. Didn't understand really why. Mahoric, actually one of the best finishes here. Although I think this is what his teammate got up on the top of the Mont Ventoux. But here you go. XDS Astana in second place. They've got no wins. Bahrain, third place. They've got no wins. Tadej, 4-5 wins for UAE and the overall. And then Visma Lease Bike with Jorgensen. He gets, fifth place here. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth place on the Champs-Élysées. Pretty sweet there. But his teammate got the win. By the way, you're looking at solo wins. There's been a few of them. One of the ones that stands out to me is 1987. I keep going back because it is one of the best Tour de France's ever with Stephen Roche. By the way, Roche wins the Giro that year. He wins the Tour de France that year. I think it was 25 stages. 25 stages in the Tour, 100 and some kilometers of time trial. And then he goes on to win the World Championship. So that was a pretty stellar. But coming into the finish, Jeff Pierce of the 7-Eleven team gets in a breakaway. This happens all the time on the show. But he stays away and he wins solo ahead of Steve Bauer, the Canadian, at the time not running for any American team. There you go. Wout wins, congratulates with his wife. I hope that's who it is. Tadej gets the win. Matteo gets a big hug, and the rest of the guys come in way, way back there. Jonas in second place. There you go. Those are the teams. Let's look at the overall. There you go. Wout, Davide Ballerini, Mahoric, Tadej, Matteo, and then Matteo Trentin. You had 2 Matteos in that front group. Arnaud Delis really tried. He came in a minute 14 down. Kevin Vauquelin, he was up there giving it an effort. Mike Tunisian, Dylan Toynes, Caden Groves rode strong. Our guy we mentioned here before, Nilson Palace, whatnot. The GC, like we said, we didn't change anything at all. I believe there was, who do we say moved up 9 seconds or so? Lipowitz, he's 11 minutes solid. As far as the Americans go, let's just go to all nations here. Go down to the United States. Sepp Kuss, top American at 17th place at 1 hour 20. Jorgensen 129, Paulus 258, almost 3 hours back. 317 was Quinn Simmons, and Will Barta for Team Movistar 4 hours 20 minutes. He was 102nd place on the day. I'm sorry, not for on the month, for the month for them. The points jersey officially goes to Jonathan Milan, but look at that. 372, 294. I mean, getting close there. KOMs, Tadej takes that 119 to 104. Youth jersey goes to Lipowitz over minute 12 over Onley. And the team category goes to Visma Lease Bike. Okay, so what I just want to say here, and Ron says, imagine being French. Yes, thank you. What I want to say here is, one, thanks to Tadej for racing today. He didn't have to. Obviously, a lot of other GC riders didn't do it. I just think the man can't help it. And thank God. This was a fascinating race. I thought this was enjoyable. If you've watched the Champs-Élysées stage before, it's, to me, boring. I hate it, actually, until the last, one lap, really. That's really, and even then, it's like the last 2K. Okay, I'll finally start paying attention. I don't care about a break. A break's not going to get away. The sprinters team should close it down. And I do want to see a sprinter. And the sprinters might not like it. The teams might not like it. But, man, the fans, if you should go watch this, or if you did watch it, you saw the crowds up on that thing, just like you did during the Olympics. Amazing. And it's kind of cool to see a different part of Paris. And to see them do this. I hope they do this more often. Like I said, even like time trials, whatever. But last year, you're going to end the Tour de France on a time trial into Nice. Yeah, I was much more for it than the Champs. And I understand this is all pumping. But then why have a stage at all? Why have stage 21 if it's not going to mean something? And today it meant something. I would hope, though, that they don't do this crap where they do stop this time on the GC. This may have turned the whole and now it may have turned up a third place. I mean, that was within a minute. If you're going to put it on, you're going to do a race, let's do it. And maybe that would have shaken that up. Who knows? Maybe third place would have gone up to second. I don't know if there's a race for Jonas, but you know what? Get your act together, learn how to ride these cobbles. That's what I have to say about that. Pretty interesting Tour de France in general. I got a little bit of fatigue about it, but this is what's crazy. It's like this book that we've been reading starts out exciting. You're excited for it. There's a lot of interest, especially that first week and that first few chapters. And then you get the middle section. And you're like, okay, this is heady stuff. It's good, but there's some boring part. And then it kind of it's slowing down at the end. And you're like, I can see where this. I'm reading the script. I'm reading the script the whole way. I get where you're going. I'm predicting everything that's happened. And then the last chapter threw it at us. And they threw it at us in a even though you could see maybe this is how it's going to be, you weren't sure. And the last chapter made the book worth it. So I'm just saying they closed this chapter of this book and on the Montmartre. And they closed it with that, and it made it for a good 2025 Tour de France. Look for us this next week. Tomorrow, trial. Tuesday, trial. It's busy, but there will be a follow-up this week where I just break down and I'll notify it up. And so get the likes, subscribe up here, get notifications set because you do want to see. I will talk about I'm going to walk through every team, and I'm going to break down how I think that what their expectations were, and how they fulfilled them, and if they did. And if there's any possibility that Tad is going to, one, is this the last Tour de France he's ever done? Perhaps. Is this, can he be beat if he doesn't? Maybe. We'll see about that as well. There was a few little excitements. Let's see if we have them here. Okay, let's go to this. Here we go. This is after the race. Quinn Simmons, his girlfriend. Oh, he proposed to her. Look at that. And then okay, he's the ultimate teammate. Look at that. Oh, hey. Easy with the slick. He's been on the road a bit. All right, so good job for Quinn Simmons. He said he had that plan back in December when he was on the short list to make the Tour team, and thank God he made it because he was on the long list actually, and then he did make it. Okay, that's all we've got for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Stage 21 was fantastic. Not too much to say other than I think Visma rode great. I think Tadej could have done much better and actually gone for the win a little bit, but he blew himself. Even though this is a short little stage here, I was really proud of Matteo. I think he came through and played the great teammate today. Excellent job. I'd like to see more out of him. Well, the Vuelta, we got Jonas, Sepp, and Matteo all signed up for the Vuelta. Will be interesting to see what happens between those three. Controversy, I don't know. See you then.